And his overall intention that they were to send was that these larvae that were put in the one box would develop faster than the larvae put in the control box. And so then he shipped the 2 boxes. He was really trying to make it, okay, the scientists are supposed to be real objective and not, sometimes when you want something to turn out a certain way, your intention might affect it. So sent it to 2 different labs, had the scientists there put different larvae in the box and measure how long it took them to grow. And they put 10,000 larvae through this in each place. And what they found was that the larvae that were put in the box with the focused intention matured 15% faster, and they were also healthier than those that were put in the control box. Well, not only that, but what was interesting was 3 months after they did it, they did the experiment again with the same boxes, and they found that in the one box, it was like everything happened faster, and the fruit fly larvae turned out even healthier. So it seemed that intention was kind of like constantly replaying the ordered thought, and so it created more coherence in the quantum particles. So that's my most scientific story. But anyway, I thought it was interesting because, this guy really tried, Dr. Tiller, to make it, and he did, I think, very successfully make it a really totally scientific experiment that followed all the rules. And it really showed that intention does affect cells, does affect results. Now, you all probably remember Muhammad Ali. And when he was the former, heavyweight champion, remember him saying, "I'm the greatest." Well, Muhammad seemed to know a little bit about intention, because he would actually picture each fight before he would go through it. He would, see himself in action, and he would see himself winning, beating the opponent. He'd even make up little poems like, "Archie Moore is sure to hug the floor by the end of 4. And, he was always telling people, "I'm the greatest." So what's he doing? He's really setting his intention, and he's practicing believing it, isn't he? He was visualizing. I think, what's visualization? It's practice believing something. And now, as you know, the really supreme athletes, this is part of their training, not just to do it physically, but to visualize, to practice in their head, to get that feeling. And so an experiment that one of the scientists did to, really say, okay, it looks like this is working, but, I need my scientific evidence, was he actually took a group of 20 to 35-year-olds, and he had, they measure everything, but he had them spend time visualizing, flexing their biceps as hard as they could during a daily training 5 times a week. So they weren't like, squeezing the muscle. They're just visualizing it. And what he found was that after a few weeks, their muscles actually increased 13.5% along with their strength. And this remained for 3 months after that training stopped. So are your thoughts powerful? Guess so. In scientific prayer treatment, the 3rd step is where we declare what we want, revealed on the physical plane. We set our intention, and we believe it to be true. So remember, Jesus told this to people a long time ago, and it's so true. all things whatsoever ye pray and ask for, believe that ye have received them, and ye shall receive them. That's why we say in the third step of treatment, and I'm not talking to somebody about how to be a practitioner for somebody else. I'm talking to you about how to be a practitioner for yourself. Not, I will be healthy tomorrow, because that puts everything into the future. But right now, knowing it is here in mind and feeling it. For that, it takes not just thought, but the feeling that goes with it to create the belief. And if you have trouble believing something, we all do at times in our lives, right? Sometimes the circumstances look pretty overwhelming. Then we have practitioners, and they can believe the truth for you. It's interesting. Last week, I went to one day of United's Asilomar. And next year, Asilomar is going to be United and ICSL. We'll be together. But I went to one day of it, and I went to a couple workshops. And it was, it was great to be there. I love Asilomar. And I saw some of my good friends, because I didn't go to Chicago, so I got to see some of my friends that, live, like Patrick Cameron lives in Canada. I see him once or twice a year, different friends. But one of the workshops I went to was given by Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis. And it was interesting because she talked about, she's a real believer in Emma Curtis Hopkins and teaches it a lot at her church. And of course, I love Emma. But her workshop was about the 6 steps, 6 of the 12 steps Emma teaches. But the part I want to tell you about was the first step. And the first step is, of course, getting clear on what you want. And so it was really interesting, because people go, well, I know what I want. And when they come to a practitioner, a lot of times they say, this is what I want. So she said, okay, who wants to be my guinea pig? So somebody volunteered, this lovely young lady. And she said, what's your heart's desire? What do you want in life? I want to make the world a better place. She goes, that's nice, but how do you want to do it? Are you going to be picking up the trash on the highway? Or, how are you going to make the world a better place? Because it's too vague. And so she said, well, I want to help people. And so again, Kathy was kind of like playing the devil's advocate, So, okay, you want to help people? Are you going to help them buy nice clothes? Or, what are you? And the girl's going, no, this isn't even close. So she finally gets to, she wants to work with children. And again, Kathy Ann's saying, okay, that's good. But so, okay, do you want to run a preschool? Do you want to design educational toys for children? And she's like, no, we're not even close. And the whole time you're looking at this young woman's face, and there's not a lot of light and energy, even when she's saying, this is what I want to say, make the world a better place, blah, blah, blah. So then she finally gets to, I want to teach children in third world countries.